And a big part of why I went from title to the 1031 side was because of the legacy aspect, the generational wealth aspect. So my family moved here from Central America. I'm first generation American. I don't look like it. I don't tan very well. But for me, the thought of being able to educate, just an investor with just one rental property or a large investor and assist them with, diversifying that portfolio was really exciting, right? Because even with this part of the industry, I learned something new every single day. 1031 doesn't change, right? It's federal law. What they say is what we're going to follow. But how you can really work with clients on creating, that next structure or that plan, because that's not a quick transaction, kind of, how people think that, I'm going to sell my house and it's all going to be done in 1 month. Great. That can happen. But on average, most of my clients call me within about 6 months before, we're even putting the property on the market or before we're really moving in with a contract. So a 1031 exchange, what it specifically is a program, right, in the tax code that the IRS has, Section 1031, that allows investors, so anyone that has a property that is a non-primary residence properties, it could be house for Airbnb or rental, it could be land, commercial, different types of things like that. But when they're looking to sell this property, instead of paying what's called the capital gains taxes, you are able to defer all of that to reinvest into a new property. The reason this program exists and it's so important specifically for investors is if, think of the commercial world. If you told an investor that's selling multi-million dollars that they have to also start paying many millions in taxes, then they're going to say, well, why are we selling it, right? Yeah. So this helps those key large investors and even just the small ones continuously move that cycle through, right? So it's setting yourself up because, you may have one property and you may do whatever you can to rent it out, things like that, but then what? Right? There's always that of, okay, but then what, right? You can't just stop yourself there. And then it's also great for, once you begin this cycle, it's not a one-time or a two-time thing. This is something you're going to do for the long run to leave for your kids or your family or whomever's going to inherit, what you're ready to leave for them. And you're doing it in a way that is going to help them, set them up, right? So for me, because I'm first generation and I came from a family that really had to work their butt off, to get out of a 1-bedroom apartment with 5 kids. And now they're very successful in many different lanes of life. It's exciting because I also get to teach my own family. Wow. How do we utilize this and, teach my husband, okay, we're going to rent this out, but this is what we're doing. And unless you're in the industry or kind of talk to someone about it, you're not going to understand or know anything about it.